My wife admitted she never felt love like I did, and now I'm ending our marriage anyway. My wife told me she's asexual, and that the loving version of her I married was mostly a role. We met in college, and she was the warmest person I'd ever known. She remembered how I took my coffee after one meeting and texted first just to say she was thinking about me. She reached for my hand before I ever thought to reach for hers, and she said, "I love you," before I had the nerve. I used to tease her and call her too much, and she'd laugh and squeeze my hand like she was proud of it. We dated 3 years before I proposed, and I did it badly. No ring, no plan, just blurted it out on a Tuesday night, heart pounding, because I couldn't picture life without her. She said yes before I even finished my sentence. We got married at 27 in a small backyard ceremony, and I honestly thought I'd figured life out. Then, about a year ago, she asked me to sit at our kitchen table, the one we picked at an estate sale. She spoke calmly, and I could tell she'd been holding it in for a long time. She said the touches were practiced, the kisses, the cuddling, the way she'd press her cold feet against my legs at night, the hand across my back in the kitchen. She said she trained herself to do those things because she thought that's what a good wife was supposed to look like. And then she said it straight. She doesn't feel love the way I do, and she never really has. She said she cares about me and never wanted to hurt me, but the spark I keep reaching for isn't there. I didn't yell. I asked what she needed and what she wanted from our life going forward. She stared at the table and said, "I don't know yet." So I found us a couples counselor. We went once a week, and I tried to speak carefully, like the right words could save us. My wife was honest, but she talked about love like it was a topic in a class. After the 5th session, she quit. She said the therapist kept treating her like a problem to fix, and she wasn't broken. I wanted to push back, but I didn't. Instead, we kept living in the same house with the same routines. The weird part was, she seemed lighter, like a weight had finally come off. She laughed at her shows, watered her plants, made plans with friends, and came home humming. I tried to hug her while she cooked, and she gently stepped away without thinking. She wasn't mean, she just didn't notice what that did to me. We still ate dinner, watched our Thursday show, shared a bed, and said goodnight, but the easy contact disappeared, piece by piece, until it was just gone. First, it was no random hug in the hallway. Then, no arm around me on the couch. Then she stopped reaching for me at all. I tried to bring it up without making her feel attacked. One night, I said, "I feel like I'm living with a really good roommate." She looked honestly confused and said, "I'm right here. I haven't gone anywhere." I asked what she thought I meant, and she said she didn't understand what I was asking for. It's been 8 months since she touched me in a way that felt like love instead of manners. Last week, Thursday night, our show was on, and the living room was dim except for the TV glow. Without planning it, I reached over and took her hand. I didn't squeeze or make a speech. I just held it because it mattered. She let it happen for maybe 30 seconds. Then she quietly pulled her hand away and tucked it under her leg, eyes still on the screen. No sorry, no glance, no change in her face, like it was nothing. My hand stayed on my own knee, empty and hot, and I felt stupid right there in my own house for even trying. That night, I lay awake listening to her breathe evenly beside me, and I realized I was the only one losing sleep. The next day, I asked if we could talk after work, and she said okay, like it was any other plan. We sat at the kitchen table again, the same table where she'd undone everything a year ago. My throat hurt and my hands shook, so I wrapped my fingers around a glass of water to steady them. I told her, "I love you, but I can't live like this." I told her I need a partner who wants to reach for me every day, not someone forcing themselves to act it out. I asked her one last time if she wanted to try anything else, any plan, any middle ground. She looked down and said, "I don't want to perform anymore." She said she didn't miss touch the way I do, and she couldn't promise she ever would. I felt my chest drop because it sounded like a final answer. So I said, "I think we should get a divorce." For a second, I expected anger or tears. Instead, she nodded slowly, and I could tell she'd been waiting to hear it. She said, "I don't want to trap you in a life that hurts you." I stared at her, and I hated how reasonable that sounded. I slid my wedding ring off, set it on the table, and stood up before I fell apart in this.